fellow representative. Please introduce yourself and your affiliation with the project.
I'm JP. I did like 80% of the film. I touched everything except for I didn't compose the music. That was all Jackson. He's not here today.
Well, congratulations, JP. You did a wonderful job. Was this also a part of a school thesis project, or was this a solo creation that you made for yourself?
This is a thesis project for my undergrad at Loyola Marymount University.
Fantastic. And so you being a boss babe, obviously, and wearing so many hats, was there a particular hat that was the most enjoyable in terms of production and making this film?
Good question. Well, let's see. I probably the actual character animating was my favorite bit. So that's the majority of my time is spent. And I've been working with the little green character for like 6 years, so it was really fun to actually make a short story with him. So I think that was my favorite parts of the production process. And then compositing, because that meant I was almost done.
I did notice the characters that you had, and they were just so enjoyable to watch. So you said you had this character, your green character, for 6 years. What inspired you in the making of this particular character, and do they have a name?
Yes. His name is Hako. I wish I remember why I named him that. I think like there's some Norse meaning behind it, but I honestly don't remember. It's like I don't remember exactly why I made him. I wish I did, but it was just sometime in high school, and I was creating a portfolio for college and realized that to find an animation school and never animated in my life. I was like, oh my god, no. So I was like, what's the easiest thing to animate? Circles. And so he's literally just two circles with like a rubber tail, like deck and butt. And then my first animation workshop class my freshman year, because he's like a bouncing ball, I would always use him for exercises, and my main animation mentor at the time, I fell in love with him, and encouraged me to keep working with him, and then he retired, and so before I got to finish my degree, and so when I was coming up with ideas for my thesis, I was like, trying to be fun to honor him by bringing back a character that like made me fall in love with animation. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. And I love you talking a little bit about your history and what got you involved with animation. What particularly drew you to animation? And since there's so many styles of animation now, what drew you to this particular style of animation?
This style, well, what got me into animation in the first place was I was really into actually completely different than this. I was really into documentaries and almost went to college for studying like documentary filmmaking. But I just really loved drawing, and so I went to studying animation, not really knowing anything about it. And then I took a history of animation course and fell in love with different age animation, like Looney Tunes, and the experimentation with the silly symphonies, and just how the introduction of sound like put animation in this whole new world. And so my main inspiration behind like being an animator now and the style that is in this film like comes from that, and just my love for music and how that and animation like really go together.
Well, and that segues me into my next question about the music that you were able to have within the film. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your collaboration with the composer and everything, and how you were able to form this particular style. Does it start with animation first? Do you hear the music first? What's the collaboration process for that?
I usually love like working off of an already made song, but I knew that if I wanted to go into the film festival run, that I would have to do something more original. And Jackson, we actually went to high school together, and he's like a music prodigy. We did symphonic orchestra together. I studied as a classical musician my whole life, and he was a pianist and going into composing. And so we kind of stayed in touch when we both went to college, and he did kind of like a variation of one of Percy Granger's songs for me in the first film that I made in college, and so I like begged him to come back and do something original for this. So we kind of, me having kind of a classical music background, I really wanted to be as involved as I could, so I made him like mass amounts of playlists of like polkas and waltzes and stuff that I really wanted to be themes within this, and then I kind of just let him have fun with it. And this was actually the first draft that they gave me, and I was like, perfect. And so usually what we do is I send him like that and the inspiration and maybe some like animated pieces to music that have inspired what I have in my mind. And then he'll work on that, send me bits while I work on the storyboard and animatic. And then once I have an animatic finalized, he will complete the song to the animatic, and then I animate from there. So it's like kind of in the middle that all comes together.
I'm gonna end with one last question. Since you said you were part of making about 80% of this film for yourself, I'm sure there were a few lessons you learned along the way. What was one of the big takeaways or lessons that you learned while completing this project that you'll either take forward or you're gonna throw out the window for your next one?
Well, I didn't do 80% of my choice. If I could have had a bigger team, I would have. It just wasn't in the stars for finishing my degree. But it's okay to make sacrifices. You're never gonna have a film that's 100% what you want it to be. There's always gonna be like sacrifices you have to make, and that's okay. So that's the biggest lesson I learned. And time management. Have a plan right away. If you don't, like, you're screwed from the start. So, yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, congratulations, and I will let you go back to your seat. Let's give a round of applause. And we'll cue up our next film.
How we see the world determines how we act. The Western philosophers like Galileo, Rousseau, Kant, and Hobbes saw that we were engaged in a war with each other over resources, making our lives solitary, poor, nasty, brutish. This view of the individual, fearful, working alone, in constant competition with others, now dominates Western philosophical tradition. Indigenous philosophy is based in spirituality. We are all related as part of a kinship-based community and as part of nature in balance and harmony with the whole. This concept exists throughout native languages. The Hopi word is Hopi Katsi. The Kingic word is Ha-Kutsi. In Lakota, it's Metakweyas. In most Western thought, society is seen as an aggregate of self-interested individuals in competition with each other over meager resources, which creates fear, insecurity, and hopelessness, a scarcity of spirit. But indigenous societies see prosperity in nature, agree that resources are abundant and should be shared. In the Western worldview, nature's value is based on hierarchy. Everything on Earth is ranked: minerals, plants, and animals, with humans at the top, dominating everything below. In the indigenous worldview, humans are an equal part of a vibrant and interconnected whole. These two worldviews lead to two very different